All right, in lesson 5.5, which starts on page 555. How amazing is that? 555 is lesson 5.5. That's pretty cool. All right, so Claire is having fun. She got to go to the amusement park, and she's on this cool Ferris wheel situation. And it says that 80 seconds ago, which would be there, 80 seconds ago, she was at the bottom of the ride. So right now, at our current time, this would be current time, C-U-R-R-E-N-T, current time, she's at the top of the ride. She's right there. Okay, so what's going to happen in the next 20 seconds? She's going to come back down. Well, coming back down is the same as 20 seconds before she got to the top. And then she's going to come down 40 seconds, right? And that's going to be the same as this 40 seconds over here in the past. So what happens is these are going to be symmetrical across 0 seconds because it moves and then back down again. All right, so these would be easy to fill in. So 20 seconds in the past will be the same thing as 20 seconds in the future because going up and down happen at the same exact rate. It's just going to be kind of on opposite sides here. And then 106, 31, and 0 because she'd be back down again. So it took her 80 seconds to go to the top and then 80 seconds to get back down to the bottom. She's descending, going up kind of in the opposite way. Okay, this activity here is with cards. We're going to skip that. And we're going to go right to the orange page. So there's bold-faced words on the orange page. And the first bold-faced word is even function. So this is not too. It's obvious that this picture goes with this word here. So what is an even function? An even function is symmetrical with respect to the y-axis. So it has y-axis symmetry. It's reflected over the y-axis symmetry. So basically, if you put 1 in, you get 4. If you put negative 1 in, you get 4. So 1 gives me 4, negative 1 gives me 4. So when x's are opposite, the output is going to be the same. All right? So an odd function has y and x-axis symmetry. Y and x-axis symmetry. Okay? So what we say is, since it has both of them, it's symmetrical about the origin. So basically what you do is you take a knife and you cut the function right here, and you take this point and you rotate it around 180 degrees, 180 degrees about the origin, and it lands on itself. Or if you look at the numbers here, negative 1, 1 becomes negative 1, 2.35 becomes negative 2.35. So the x and the y's become opposite signs of each other. That's what makes it an odd function. So you could be down here at 2, negative 2. And so if you flip that around with both x-axis and y-axis symmetry, it would flip up to here, which would be the point negative 2, 2. So the x becomes negative and the y was negative, it became positive. So it rotated it around. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. It should be over here. My bad. It should be right there. That's 2, negative 2. So forget about that point. So it took it and it rotated it around 180 degrees. That's what makes an odd function. All right. So if you had x and y and you had 3, negative 5, then the point that would match it would be negative 3, 5. So you just make them be opposite of each other. If it's negative 2, negative 4, then the one that would match it would be 2, 4. That's what makes it be odd, is they both of them flip. So it's flipping over the x and the y-axis. All right, so then we're supposed to classify these as odd, even, or neither. And then, so if you look here, this flips over the y-axis. So this would be an even function. This one here, if we cut it and we take this point and we rotate it around, it would land on that point there. So this would be an odd function. Same thing with this one here. If we cut it here, we took this point, we rotate around 180 degrees, it would land over there. So that means this would be an odd function. This is a hot mess. You can't cut this and spin it around, and it's not symmetrical about the y-axis, so this would be neither. So that's what's going on with that one. All right, so now it shows some values of an even function, so you have to figure out what goes here. So it's symmetrical about the y-axis, so you can like go opposite across there. Like if this is -2/8 and this has to be 2, what? It should go flip across, should make sense. The next page. So this is -2, so it moved down 2 spaces, or did it move to the right 2 spaces? You could argue it either way. So you can talk about that. All that apply. I always like to tell you how many answers are true on the all that apply. And for the all that apply on this page, there are 3 correct answers. There's 3 correct. 3 correct. All right. Then we're back to solve these equations. All right, so this is old school from lesson 3-8. So we're going to solve these, and you're going to do the opposite when you solve. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a line right here. We're going to say 1/4 third root of d is equal to 15. So you do old school algebra, fancy algebra, and then you go back to old school. Right? So we're going to divide by 1/4. Okay, so you're going to get the cube root of d is equal to 15 divided by 1/4. What is 15 divided by 1/4? So keep, switch, flip, or divide on the calculator, you should get 60. All right, so this is cube root. The opposite of cube root is to cube something. So we're going to cube both sides of the equation. So you're going to get d is equal to 60 times 60 times 60, which is a pretty big number. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216, and then the 60 times 60 times 60 means it's 3 extra zeros. Okay, so there's A. Now we're going to do B. B, not D. B. There, B. Sometimes I make my B's and my D's backwards when I'm thinking about 2 things at once. Negative cube root of e is equal to 7. So what do? You got to get rid of the negative first. So we're going to divide by -1. So we get the cube root of e is equal to -7. So then you're going to do exactly what you did here. Cube both sides and get an answer. And then C, you're going to have cube root of f minus 5 plus 2 is equal to 4. All right, so this is where you're going to take care of the 2 first, right? So you're going to do old school algebra, then you're going to be left with this cube root, and you got to take care of that like we did here. Then you're going to be left with an f minus 5, and you got to take care of the minus 5. So you're going to do old school algebra, fancy algebra, back to old school algebra to get rid of the 5, so you can figure out what f is. All right, so here we're flipping it with the negative in front. It's going to flip it over the what axis? When you put the negative inside, it's going to flip it over the what axis? So you're going to draw those two based on that graph. And the last question is a heart rate question. And this is from lesson 5-2. And we're going to talk about, so we have the heart rate, we do our run, and then we stop and we don't run. Okay, and we're going to make it be 3 hours later so we can sketch the graph in there. That's pretty self-explanatory. All right, enjoy lesson 5.5.